You're spending too much time playing those cards. It's either the cards or me.
The video that I have for you guys here today is a very important one in teaching the importance of, as a man, understanding what your purpose is. And then if you're looking for a woman, and especially if you're looking for a woman to marry, that your woman respects what your purpose is. Title of the video today, I got divorced over Yugioh. Gents, listen to me. If you allow a woman to come into your life and to change you, into molding you into something that you don't even like for yourself, you will be miserable and you will grow to resent them. Let's get active on this one.
I need to say this. Let me just say it straight out the way. I am no longer married and I'm divorced. This is not what this video is about, but there's something that you guys need to know.
Okay.
When I met this woman and I told her about my Yugioh stuff, she hated it. She didn't like it. She said that, hey, you can do something better with your life.
Now, notice what he says is that it's not after he got married to this woman. It's when he met the woman. She already had a problem with something that he has as a hobby. Pay attention.
You should go back to school. So you know what I did back in 2016, 17, 16? I said, you know what? Maybe she's right. And you know what I did? I sold all my equipment.
Damn.
I sold my YouTube channel. I sold all my camera stuff. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. Maybe it's time for me to do something better with my life. Not knowing that at that time, what I had was very special. At that time, something that I chose to do, YouTube, I had something going on. Even though I had some drama and stuff going on before and I shut down my channel a few times, I had something that I completely gave up. I gave it up because someone said, hey, you know what? Maybe it is time to move on. You got to do something better with your life. There's got to be something more for your life. And I sold all my stuff for a woman.
Damn.
And she's no longer here. And this problem persists. She told me at that time, hey, you want to meet my mother? You need a car. Because I didn't have a car at the time. I was doing YouTube. I was working from home. I didn't need to drive anywhere. Yes, YouTube is what I did for a living.
Notice all of the requirements that the woman set up for him to abide by, to be form fit within her lifestyle. You need a car to meet my parents. What? If the car doesn't make sense within your life, whether it be from a travel perspective or how much money that you have in account perspective, then why would you want to buy into something that may put you back into debt? I feel for this brother, and I'm sorry that he has to go through this right now within the realization that he got rid of a component of his life in order to appease a woman. But all my other G's out there, and if I knew him at the time, and he consulted with me, I would have said, listen, you do not simp yourself into a relationship because you do not feel good enough for this woman. Because if you give up all the things that make you happy within your life or things that might earn you some side income in order to appease someone that is shaming you into being an immature man, because who the hell plays with cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards, then you are effectively positioning her on a pedestal, thus making you a simp. Understand your purpose, know who you are, or you'll fall into the biggest trap card of your life.
How I paid my bills. And I was street performing also. How did I street perform? I just catch the bus 20 minutes down the street, played my horn, went home. I never needed a car. But when I met this woman, you have to go back to school. You have to exercise. You have to get your degree. You have to do something better with your life. Even though I explained to her, this is what I chose to do. A woman comes in your life and try to tell you the plan that you chose for your life is
not
wrong.
good enough. Right.
And out of love, I choose to say, you know what? Maybe she's right. And I took a chance. I took a chance. I said, you know what? I'm going to give this up completely. Like, for good. Sold the channel to Jobber. Sold all my stuff. Tried to go back to school multiple times. There's some.
He's not a
I don't
school
want to
guy.
say that I can't finish school, but it certainly feels like I can't. I don't know what it is. And every time I talk to people, they just think that everything I say is just an excuse. You are a grown man. You are an adult. You can do it. It's like no one can see it from my perspective. It's like I am always wrong. When I study, what I do? I fall asleep. What do they say? Hey, you're lazy. You're procrastinating. You're choosing not to do this. And I'm like, that's got to be something wrong with me. When it comes to school, studying, and staying on task and staying focused, I just can't do it. And I try. And I go back to school. And I pay all this money. And I pay all this money. And I pay all this money. And I fail. And I fail. And I fail. And I fail. Music has always been there for me. And I've always been great at it. People say that, hey, they try to test me. They say, hey, you know music, right? You know this person? No. Do you know this person? No. You know this person? No. Well, how are you a musician? I also get people say to me, hey, what key is this in? I say, I don't know. Like, well, they say, well, how are you playing? How are you a musician? How do you play so well? I am not the type of person who is book smart.
Yeah.
Or knowledgeable.
Knowledge dense.
I don't know things.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting about what he's saying is that this is something I had to come to terms with throughout my life, is that people just learn incredibly differently. Like what is given as a standardized test, whether it be the GMATs or the SATs or what's given as a standardized IQ test, I think that all of these different tests really don't determine who's the most intelligent for every type of subject that has ever existed. There's just some people that just don't do well in schools. There's just some people that just, you cannot put them in a cubicle. No matter how hard that you try to put them in and to type on a keyboard, it's just not their thing. They begin to lose their mind. They're more apt to do things with their hands, to lift things up, to pour concrete mixtures in, right? Like, and that's just the way that they are built. But something that my father always taught me within that is because my dad wasn't a book smart person, but my dad was one of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. But it was with his hands. He could fix anything with his hands. But from a school perspective, I mean, he just wasn't the best. So I say all that to say is that while, yes, if you attend school or a university, the goal is to do your best in order to graduate, to get the best job possible, to make the most amount of money possible. But if you are not a school person, then you have to figure it out for yourself. And it seems as though between his Yu-Gi-Oh cards and him being a street performer, he was doing enough to be happy for him. Now, if he came to me and he said, listen, I want more out of my life, well, then there's a different conversation to be had. But if you are satiated, if you are happy, you are joyous in what are the things that you are doing, and the woman that you were talking to is not joyous, the same amount of deep joy and a respect that you have for the purpose that you have within your life, if this is where you want to be, then that is not the correct woman for you. Don't, under any circumstances, allow someone else to try to change you, because as a man, we have to be able to love it ourselves in order to be able to do it. I know legit geniuses, but you put a mic out in front of them, in front of a group of people, and they lose their minds. They don't know what to do. Anxiety overrides them. I know D students that you put a mic out in front of a group of people, and they kill a crowd. The lesson there is that your knowledge of self or your capabilities should be known deeply by you through your own investigation and should not be curtailed by other people.
But I know how to do things. I know how to do things physically in a creative way. I'm not a type of person who retains things and hold on to things, who can read a book and then take a test, pass it, and go on. That's not me. I am a creative-minded person. Anything that involves creativity, I can do, at least to some degree, where people are like, wow, you do it so well. You ever thought about going to school? No, I tried. It doesn't work. So, this is all tying together. I met the parents. They asked me, hey, what do you do for a living? I had to tell them I am a musician. I couldn't tell them I was a street musician.
Yeah.
I am a musician. Then they said, hey, you have a degree? I said,
Oh, no.
I don't have a degree. My ex-wife parents did not speak to me for 2 years and told her not to marry me because I don't have a degree. What sense does that make? So I give up this YouTube thing. I give up my entrepreneurial things. I try to do something that's not innately a part of my strengths at all because I'm thinking I'm in love to do something for somebody to prove something.
Yeah. Oh,
and this continues on
for years.
Through the marriage. She says, hey, you need to find a hobby. I'm like, oh, let me play Yugioh again.
Right.
So
That's his
last
hobby.
December, last year, I start my channel up again. I buy my channel back from Java. Like, oh, she gave me the okay to go into a hobby. You know what she said?
Not that
You're
hobby.
spending too much time playing those cards.
Oh,
It's either the cards or me. She literally said that.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
you just said I need a hobby. I get into a hobby, and now you said I'm doing it too much. What is it? What do I do? She says, why are you into those cards so much? I said, hey, I need to make a video about something. And I haven't played this card game for 2 years, on and off. How can I make a video for my subscribers about something I have no knowledge of? And I try to explain it to her, but she don't get it. She thinks it's just cards you pick up and you just play like Uno. It's not that way.
right.
Every 3 months, a new set come out, new stuff come out. I can't make a
updates
video
always.
about something if I don't
Know
know
a bit. Right.
what it's about. I can't start my channel back up and just start making videos. I have to be in it. I have to learn about it
Yeah.
and learn what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I feel this brother's pain so much. But my guy, I know it hurts right now. You probably feel like more of a failure because you've just gone through a divorce. But you are much better living life without a person tied to you that doesn't respect you or what it is that you do. An inability in what sounds like 6 or 7 or 8 years that you were with this woman, for her not to understand the complexities of that card game means that she don't care about the things that you like. And in her mind, her prescription of what your manhood is or your masculinity is, or like what a man should be doing, is based off of the cookie cutter that maybe her parents gave to her or that she views out on TV. I'm tired of some women that will posture something like playing video games as a kid's activity. Meanwhile, these are the same ones that'll watch Love and Hip Hop all day. Like, why is your activity for a hobby or for entertainment much more valued than mine? When in fact, when you're playing video games, it's a lot more social, it's a lot more interactive, and the studies support the value of playing video games within your life, especially when you start out young. Now, with anything, if you overindulge in anything, it's bad shit. You drink too much water, you get water poisoning. But the amount of time that is necessary to create YouTube videos and come from a valuable, knowledge-based source, it takes hours and on a day. So the work that he was doing to establish value again, now that he had his hobby back, she saw it as wasting time.
she hated those cards. She literally cried because of those cards. And people say, hey, priorities, man. It's your wife, or, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Fake ass
But
tears.
then I'll be back at that point where I'm giving up things that I like,
Yeah.
things that's a part of my life for someone else to feel happy. And I feel miserable in the process.
Right.
I'm sitting there watching all these YouTubers come out and make videos and do all this stuff. They're traveling. I'm like, that's what I used to do.
Right.
I love that. I miss that.
Yeah.
Why can't she come along with my journey instead of scrutinizing me? And then that's money gone from me. It's not about the money, but that was money gone from me. Then street performing. I said to her, hey, I don't want to move away from Baltimore. You may be thinking, why? That's where my home base is. My gigs, my performances, everything. Keep in mind, I didn't have a job. Like, when I say I don't have a job, like a real job. A real job is, you know, going in 9 to 5. I didn't have a real job for over 10 years. It was YouTube and playing my horn. That's how I paid all my bills. So when we got married and we moved out to Baltimore to somewhere else that I didn't want to be, she said, hey, how come you're not paying the bills? And I was like, what? I have a job. I have a 9 to 5 job. I don't make enough from this 9 to 5 job to pay all these bills. Before then, I could street performing in YouTube. I made enough money off of that to pay the bills. Now I'm working 9 to 5 all day long, and that's not a complaint because there are people who do that. But I had something that most people wish they had. Most people wish they can go out, make some money, pay their bills, and have all day off. That was a gift.
Yeah.
That was something. That was something that I had.
The gift that he's also not speaking about is, you know, the majority of people that work 9 to 5s, they're not working in something that they absolutely love, like that they would feel comfortable if they were to die tomorrow. written on their tombstone is what it is that they're doing at their 9-to-5 or their place of business. In fact, this was actually some of the issue that I was going through when I was in the 9-to-5 corporate rat race a couple of years ago, is that inevitably the things that I was doing within the four walls of that organization, and there are not things that would be put on a tombstone, let's say, if I was to just pass, right? And I think that rubs at you, bothers you at a certain portion, because you're putting your life, your soul, and all your time and energy into these projects, but the projects is really just rolled under this organization. Your name never to be attached to it, I guess, unless you consider internally attached to it within that organization as valuable. You know, this is why, like, one of the reasons when I made this switch to doing what this is, because this is me at the end of the day. My face is on it, my brand is on it, and this is something that I've created out of nothing to be able to talk to people, to add value into their life, make them laugh on occasion from time to time. But that is something that a majority of people don't experience, the alignment of their purpose and joy, something that makes them happy.
Now, you can take this video as me complaining, crying, I messed up. It is all of that. It is true. I am complaining. I am hurt. I made some mistakes. I did some dumb things. And you're right. It is my fault. I chose.
You chose the woman.
I chose to sell my channel.
There's nothing more than I like to see a brother come into a story at the end of this and say it was my fault, because he's doing what men always need to do, which is to take accountability. She did not hold a firearm up to his head and told him to marry her. She did not have a knife at his back when he sold all of the channel stuff and put her up on a pedestal. He made the decision after all. But through this relationship, or through this marriage and divorce rather, he learned a valuable life lesson when it comes to women, and it's about respect. Let's finish up.
I chose to give up this thing, not realizing, say, you know what? This is my YouTube channel. This is my life.
Yeah.
You can't come into my life and dictate to me and tell me what's better for me.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then get mad at me.
Everybody got opinions.
When I lose all of those things that I can't do, and I can't do what you think I should do.
Yeah.
I've never been that way. It's like you're trying to tell me to walk or run a lap or a race with no legs. You're trying to tell me to do something that I innately just cannot do.
It's not as
And
foundation.
when I say I can't do that, it's just an excuse.
It's a bad position to be in. It's a weak position.
I'm moving out. In 2 weeks, I'll be moving out. I'll have my own place again.
Hopefully you
I'm
get to keep that couch.
starting my life over.
That couch looks comfy.
And you guys know I couldn't make videos when in the house. The only time I can make YouTube videos is when she's gone. And you might be thinking, well, why is that? She would come in here from my room and say, hey, you're too loud.
I can't stand
Hey,
her.
I'm trying to read. I'm like, wait, what? I gotta talk. I gotta make a video.
What a loser.
I'm disturbing her. And yes, I'm venting and I'm ranting. If you stayed this long, thank you. If you didn't, it's okay. But I needed to get this off my chest because it was brewing.
Yeah.
I am deeply hurt.
After being
And I
gaslit for
hurt
years.
myself. I don't blame her at all. Everything that I've chosen to do is because I wanted to do it.
Yeah. That's probably
I wanted to make someone happy.
Yeah.
I thought I can be that person for someone else, and I thought I can do it.
And there's a lot of young men today that have this sort of savior complex, and it's a prescription given to young men from the society or the culture that we live in. This idea that we are to sacrifice whatever within our life, whether that be for the accomplishment of some type of goal, to be seen as a hero, could be a hero complex, or for love. But one of the best lessons that he learned throughout this is how to prioritize his self-love.
I thought I can get away from YouTube and Yugioh and street performing. I thought I can go back to school and pass and get a real job and make some good money to pay all my bills. I thought I could be that man who could do those things. But the truth is, I have special gifts and talents that other people wish they had to be able to pay and make money and do things in ways people wish they could.
It's true.
It's ironic, isn't it?
It's crazy.
It's ironic that I wish that I can go to school and work a 9-to-5 job all day long and pay all my bills. It's ironic that I want to do what people hate to do. They hate to go in and live a mundane life. They hate that. And they want to have their own business. They want to make their own money. They want to have their free time. I had that. Literally, I would work 3 hours a day, and have enough at the end of the month to pay all my bills and do whatever I need and travel. But that wasn't good enough for the person I was with. It wasn't secure enough.
Set you back.
What if you didn't make enough was the question. What about medical bills? What about this? What about that? What about retirement? What about all the stuff? So, I truly want to do YouTube full time. Not for a living. Yes, money comes along with it. And yes, my channel is dead. But I'll do it as a hobby because I like doing it and I can't give it up. I've made a video about not giving up before. I said I would never give up. I just can't. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy playing Yugioh. I enjoy being with my friends and doing those things.
What's interesting about this brother's channel is that if you look back to a period where he was not married, right? If you sort by popular, his videos were popping off. He had a lot of pop-off videos within the Yu-Gi-Oh space, right? But you'll see that, this is all 10, 11, 12 years ago. If you check out his latest videos, right, he's getting not as many. I mean, this video was a breakout video. But these other ones, 800, 1700, right? But a lot of this has to do with a lot of the time that he took off from it. For folks that do not know, YouTube is a consistency platform. If you take time off, long periods of times off, the algorithm no longer respects you, right? The algorithm can change. And in fact, the popularity of Yu-Gi-Oh might be down now as compared to what it was back then. But within this time, he could have found other avenues to do this content. He could have maybe stretched into other types of card games, right, in order to increase his breadth of value that he can add to his subscribers. There's so many other things that he could have thought about to do, but instead he was trying to figure out how to put this woman up on a pedestal. And let me address a comment that I know I'm going to get on this video, and it's going to be something in the lines of, well, but MTR, she was trying to support him. She wanted him to do better, right? She wanted him to change for some goal. And my answer to you into that is to say, okay, if someone wants to change something about you within your life, you have to understand the why behind the change. Like, for example, let's say I got a buddy who's been a battle rapper, right? And he's been trying to release music for like 10, 15 years, right? He barely makes enough money to have his ends meet, right? He hasn't improved within the type of music that he produces. And the sector is running away from him because there's a different type of music that he doesn't, right? Like, and if I am trying to say, hey, bro, based off of your talents, here's what I see you doing. And it makes sense because of this reason, because of that reason. But that's not what was happening to this brother right here. He didn't fit the cookie cutter mold. Apparently, the woman thought he was attractive enough. So that was part of the mold. But when it comes to what he does for a hobby or what he does for a living, she doesn't prescribe it as being manly, right? And also the parents wasn't going to approve of it. So she wants to change you because her prescription of what a man should be and the prescription of making her parents happy based off of what it is that you do for a living or her being taken care of wasn't aligned. That's why she wanted to change you. Not because you weren't able to pay your bills, not because you wasn't a successful Yu-Gi-Oh creator, not because. It was through her own selfishness that she chose to disrespect what you love. School is not for everybody, and it takes a certain boundaries of temperaments to prepare yourself for that process. And I think that that's something that people just need to be honest with themselves about, right? There's a degree of push that I had to push myself through to be successful within school, but I have the aptitude and I have the way that I think about things structured in a way that I can actually get it done. But for some people, they do not. And I do not chastise those people because I want you to do your best, but I want you to do best for whatever your skills are aligned to. Shout out to this brother one more time. Again, I'll leave a link to his video down in the description box down below. Last thing I want to say about this to this gentleman right here is cut her off. Ignore her. Because once you start to become successful or she sees your thoughts within this video, she might come around. Let her go. She wasn't respectful to you at the inception of your relationship. You decided to get married to her, and there's nothing going to change with her personality going into the future from a long-term perspective. Stay on a path that continues to make you joyous throughout your life, and utilize this as a learning opportunity for whatever situations or relationships that you get within the future. Last but not least, if you're interested in my men's development community, there's a link to it down in the description box down below. For whoever wants to join, come up, beam up. Come through, see the conversations, the active discussions that are taking place, and I will see you guys up there. Until next time, YouTube, peace.